So, since we promised at the very beginning of MetaNet that this would be a completely transparent and open shop, we share with you something that normally is not shared to the outside, namely the very first steps. The first steps, we will share with you every step. If you come to further events and don't get bored by that, then we will share with you every step in the development of what can, if we manage well, really be an important instrument in getting much more and much better recognition and support for our field. Yeah. So let me start by recapitulating what has been done so far. So already during this vision process that Joseph talked about and showed the outcome of, not only through the reports that were then put together in this one report that Joseph talked about, we got many valuable suggestions that will be important ingredients to the SRA, but also in these meetings, when you get decision makers, when you get intelligent people with ideas and visions from different industrial sectors together with researchers in rooms, then you get lots of ideas on the side. You get lots of things, and we tried as well as possible to take note of these and record those. Because many of these things may come back later on. Because already you cannot keep people from thinking other things than you ask them to think about. So they come up with many suggestions already that will become important later. For instance, things that are more related to business or more related to markets, or how to fuel, how to support innovation processes that are not directly found in the technology visions. So that we recorded. Then we carefully screened the text sort not yet treated in the linguistic literature of SRA. That's a completely different text sort. There's not so many of these, and so we tried to learn from other initiatives. What did they do right? What did they do wrong? And very often it's very hard for us now to see from the results what worked later in the persuasion process, but at least we could look at it and say this is obviously not very convincing or so. So we tried with common sense and looking with many people looking at it. So we screened them, and we saw they are on the one hand quite different, but then there are many elements that are shared by all of them, not surprisingly, and I'll come to this. So then in the first two meetings of the Meta Technology Council, we discussed procedures. How do we go from here? The input, what should be all input, what counts as input, and what is the overall structure of the SRA. And so how can we then use the input to fill in contents into the structure? So I'll start with the structure and get your later we can discuss it here. So this is the outline that was agreed on right now. If it's agreed on right now, that doesn't mean it's now all cast in iron or hammered in stone. Even that can be changed, but right now this is the state of discussion. So most of the SRAs start with some letter from some coordinator, and here I think we are such a strong group, we should not have one name on here, we should have all the strong names, all the partners of MetaNet. Then describe briefly Meta, its objectives and goals, just to tell people who this is coming from. Then of course we need to start with an executive summary. And now the important parts come, and the 2, 3, and 4 are more the statement of what's going on now, what's the state of the art, what are the chances, and 5 and 6 are the planning part. So the next part is pulling together, summarizing all of the things that we found about multilingual Europe, the facts, the challenges, and the opportunities. We need to define it. We need to say what are the facts. of the languages, of the technologies that are used for the language, although we come to the real technological part later, but more to the solutions. Yeah? What's multilingual Europe? What are the economic challenges coming through through having these many languages? What are the special challenges? But also, what are the opportunities that we have? So this is still on a non-so-technical level. The next thing is we need to say, what is information communication technologies like? What is it like today? What are major trends and what are major predictions? Because whatever we need later to plan needs to fit somehow in there. Yeah? We cannot change all of the field of ICT. Yeah? We have to live with whatever we think are the constraints, the components, the major trends. Yeah? That's difficult. Some of the predictions are difficult to make. Then the next part is, now we come to our part to language technology itself. We need to say, where are we? Let me go right away into the otherwise I will lose too much time and come back again. So let me rush through these major points because we need your feedback then. So multilingual Europe, so facts, challenges and opportunities. Yeah, what are the economic, cultural, societal challenges? Which of the challenges can be addressed by technology? Not all of them can. Some have to be addressed by policy making or legislation, something else. The opportunities, what are the opportunities for business and society, and which of these opportunities require considerable support? Yeah, if there are opportunities that will be taken by industry anyway, that's fine, yeah, then we can point it out to them, but it's... So then ICT, I mentioned it, what's the current state? Summary of ICTs, information communication technologies that are relevant for language technology. What are the computing paradigms, processing, I/O, software service engineering? What's the embedding of things in other technologies, embedded ICT? What are the applications, main applications? The major trends, what are the technology trends and early developments? I mean, early developments also in research, things that may not even be visible yet to the public, but we know already because we are connected to research that they are going on. The predictions, which major changes can be predicted. And of the major changes that can be safely predicted, we should also add, at least as possibilities, yeah, a few other potentially disruptive changes of which we are not really sure whether they can come, just to show that we are aware of this. So if, for instance, tomorrow quantum computing takes over much faster than we think, yeah, what is going to happen? Things like this. So then language technology, state limitations and potential, state of the art, language technology industry, sectors, companies, products, markets. What are the limitations, technological limitations for applications and markets, barriers from business and markets? And what's the potential of language technology for multilingual Europe? And what is also the market potential? Now, note one thing here, that we did not separate the technology completely from business. Because this is, if you look at it, usually if you get here, some business people write some business part, some technologists write this, and 2 chapters, it usually does not fit. It's not convincing anymore. It needs to be one story. It needs to be interacted. So we need very closely, we need to work together with the business people very closely in putting it together. So then, now we come to the planning part. First, the grand vision, the guiding vision for language technology in Europe. We take the input from the vision paper that Joseph just showed. But this paper is very good, it's very convincing, it's food for thought already. But when it comes to deriving from this now major targets of investment, something like multilingual information management is not yet the slogan. Yeah, there's not yet the so we need some applications, some solution, some attractive solutions, applications that are driving, that can be described in a short time, that will of which people will say, yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, that's what we want. And so we still need, on the communication side, one translation process and one condensation process. So Then we need major predictions on technology progress. We need to also take the input from the vision groups. What can we change within the time frame, within the next 8 years or so, or 10 years in language technology? And then we need, I come back to this 2 to 3 attractive and convincing solution visions, yeah, that can be derived from these divisions of the vision paper. They will, all the ingredients, maybe not all, but many of the ingredients will be there. But we need for each then solution vision, sketch out the vision. We need to say what are the needed language technologies, the needed progress, other technologies, maybe other technologies needed from outside. And what would be the prospected impact on society, economy, and on the markets? Not quite the same. Economy and the markets. Markets are part of the economy, but it can have economical effects even without being on the market. From this, we need to derive then the real planning. Now we need to set priorities for research and innovation. And this is the first part where discussion will be fierce, because one thing does not really fly very well, and this is if you take your field as it is, and because you want to be nice to everybody in the field, you just map it exactly into this plan. No prioritization, you take it as it is, yeah, and you just describe it in a way. That would be nice, you don't lose any friends, yeah, that's a very good thing. But the people who invest will not like it, because you say basically only all we need is more money for exactly the stuff we've been always doing, yeah. Now we need more money for it, yeah. That's not very good, so we need to prioritize.